I commonly get asked what is meal prepping and who benefits from using it. Meal prepping is simply preparing your meals ahead of time. So I'm cooking in bulk for the whole next week, and you can do it for anywhere between some of your meals, like maybe only your lunches, or basically every meal that you eat for the next week. And it just helps. So you have the meals ahead of time in the refrigerator. Then I portion them out and just heat them up in the microwave. I can have really quick, fast, healthy meals throughout the whole week.
Who is meal prepping for?
Meal prepping is for anybody that wants to be healthy. It gets a ton of attention from like the bodybuilding community, but all it is preparing healthy meals ahead of time. And because it saves so much time cooking in bulk, and then just being able to like heat up your food for the next week, literally anybody that wants to have a healthier lifestyle, pack their lunches to work or school instead of just kind of eating what's ever available, wants to have food ready in case they need, a quick meal and they don't just want to grab something quick like a bar or, some sort of processed, not really actual food. Meal prepping is going to really help them. And then it's especially helpful if you're a high level athlete, you really need to be eating a lot of healthy food. You need to eat a lot more food, so cooking it from scratch would take even longer. And it's also really good if you're trying to lose weight, especially, because then you can just kind of control what you have and you're doubly prepared for, eating healthy. And obviously when you're on a diet, you're specifically trying to lose weight, then having that ahead of time is just basically a must to have a successful diet.
Is meal prepping really just cooking all your meals ahead of time?
Yeah, so meal prepping is cooking any number of meals ahead of time. Typically, people do it for at least the majority of their meals just because it's so much easier, more time efficient to cook in bulk. But it can be anything from you meal prepping every single meal you're gonna eat over the next week to, hey, I'm just gonna meal prep all the lunches for next week at work or all my breakfasts so I can get something quick and out the door. It really is just up to whatever fits your schedule and what you're meal prepping for, maybe how serious you are about, say, eating really healthy and tracking, that kind of stuff.
Is meal prepping a diet?
No, meal prepping is literally just prepping meals. So it doesn't matter if you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, if you want to eat vegan, if you want to be a carnivore, if you want to follow just a normal kind of regular healthy diet. Meal prepping itself is not a diet. It's literally just preparing your food. So whatever the diet is that you are eating, if you are following anything strict, you would just make it, say, for me, I meal prep on Sundays and then I have food for the next week, and that's really all you do.
How long does meal prepping take?
Meal prepping for me takes between an hour and a half and 2 hours. I would say that's probably about average, and I do cook a fair bit of food because I'm cooking for the whole week. If you cooked less food, maybe just for your lunches, and we're only doing one or two things, it might take a little less time. If you're gonna follow some more specific, maybe fancier recipes, then yeah, it might take a little bit longer. Also, just something to be aware of is the first few times it's might be a little frustrating, might take you a little bit longer than it will once you get good at it, because you're just gonna have to figure out what things do I cook first, which order, where's all my stuff at, just how you're gonna do it. It'll take a little bit of time depending on what you're cooking, but yeah, I'd say on average between an hour and a half and 2 hours.
What is the simplest version of meal prepping?
So meal prepping can be as simple or complex as you want it to be. If you only want to make one food, if I just was making this chicken breast and that was the only thing I was making, cut it up real quick. I don't have to measure anything, just sprinkle some salt, pepper, garlic on it, and kind of go from there. Man, that can be done really quickly. Obviously, the more kinds of food that you want to eat, the longer it's going to take. The more specific recipes you follow that exactly do this, this, and this, then obviously the longer it's going to take. But you can start as simple as you want. And I'd actually suggest starting as simple as you need to just to get started. So if it's hey, I'm just gonna make my lunches next week and I'm just gonna make chicken with one seasoning, see how it goes, do that. And then if you're oh, okay, that was pretty good. It made lunches a lot simpler. Maybe the next week, try making a couple things. I've got chicken, I've got ground beef here, I've got chicken legs and potatoes in the oven. I also made a pot roast in the crock pot earlier. So you can do a little bit more. I don't follow any specific recipes. I kind of just chuck some seasonings on. I mean, I've been doing it. I kind of can eyeball it decently well. But yeah, you can make it as simple or complex as you want. Over the next few weeks, we're gonna be covering topics around meal prepping and nutrition. But if you do have any specific questions, you can let me know in the comments and I'll either answer directly or make a whole video depending on the topic.